Just taking some time to reflect once again on our passage for this week, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 12 through chapter 2, verse 4. Made it just a basic observation that I think is really important. We have all taken offense at someone's words or someone's action at some point, and I have no doubt that other people have taken offense at our words and our actions. We live in a relational environment that is broken because of human rebellion against God. Relationships tend toward disruption because of our sinfulness. And when we look at taking offense, there are a lot of things that go into this. And just think about one time, not necessarily the last time, but the one time that you've taken offense at someone's words or actions. Prior to taking offense, had you given much thought about what they said or did? Probably not. Had you been scrolling through their social media feed trying to find implied insults and looking for the fact that for a long time they've been hurting me and trying to offend me? Probably not, because prior to the offense, we didn't spend much time thinking about that person. Now that we're hurt, now that we feel the sting of a disrupted relationship, now we're out looking for it. The reality is that when we're offended, when we take offense at other people's words and actions, we pick up lenses of suspicion. We put those people under a microscope so that their words, their actions, their facial expressions, their tone of voice all become fair game for adding to the offense that we've taken against them. It's really a difficult situation to be in because our imaginations run wild with the idea of offense. This is kind of the situation that the Apostle Paul finds in his relationship with the Corinthians. They have a strained relationship. His first letter is very forthright. It's confrontational. He goes through a variety of different things that he thinks they need to correct in their church existence and in their relationships. The Corinthians, many of them take offense at it. They don't like how Paul has treated them. He tries on a number of occasions to make the relationship right, but all of his secondary involvement in that relationship, trying to invite them back to healthy and loving relationship, only made things worse. And so he writes 2 Corinthians trying to correct their course as friends. And he does it in a little bit different way. He tries to help them through his own vulnerability, through his own transparency that I talked about in the last video. He tries to help them take off their lenses of suspicion toward him. They view Paul in suspicion. They're scrutinizing everything he does. He's under a microscope. So he opens up to them on a variety of different issues in his life, his suffering, his hardship, his struggle with depression, and he tries to let them see the depth of his love for them, the depth of his own vulnerability, so that they will soften, so that they will begin to put down the lens of suspicion, quit scrutinizing him in unhealthy ways, and come back to healthy relationship with him. So as we look at this portion of 2 Corinthians, it's really important for us to look at our relationships. Are we looking at people through the lenses of suspicion that we've picked up and put on because of offense that we've taken toward them? If we have, we need to take off those lenses of suspicion and replace it with love, with forgiveness, with kindness, and begin to view them in a different light. If we're the person who has offended another, we need to look at our approach to them. Are we being selfishly defensive? Are we looking at them and saying, oh, they shouldn't act that way to me. They should feel differently. Well, that's not how Paul approaches this. He tries through gentleness to help the Corinthians take off their lenses of suspicion toward him. He tries to assist them in their effort to view him properly and truthfully and kindly. So he makes himself vulnerable in wise ways so that they can come back and be reconciled and be in right relationship and flourish together. So as we read this section, let's prayerfully consider our own relationships, taking off the lenses of suspicion, replacing them with love and forgiveness, and if we're the offending party, looking gently at those who are offended by our words and actions, and helping them, trying to help them come to reconciliation because we're not being selfishly defensive, but we're being loving and reaching out in gentleness, reaching for reconciliation with them. Be blessed, my friend.